Music Licensing 101 for bands, musicians, and songwriters. What is music licensing? Well, music licensing is like renting music. Music is owned by the artist, songwriter, publisher, label, and/or a musician's estate. Permission to use the music must be approved by the owners of the rights. Music licensing. Licensing is the legal way to provide a permission for a specific use of all or part of a composition. There are different types of licenses: a sync license or synchronization license, master use license, mechanical license, and performance license. We'll be focusing on sync or synchronization license and master use licenses in this seminar. How does music licensing work? Step 1. Contact the people involved. Get permission from everyone. If a label is involved, they own the sound recording, so you have to obtain the master rights. The publisher owns the publishing rights and is usually made up of the composer and songwriter, who usually owns the copyrights, and sometimes a publishing entity is involved, which represents them for all the dealings. To use a song, obtain the rights from the publisher at a minimum. Then you can re-record the song like a cover song and use it within your movie, TV show, trailer, commercial, video game, etc. Or you can go to the next step and license the master rights from the label, and then you may use the actual recording for your project. Generally, it's best to go through an agency because the process can be exhaustive. Why the need for music? Why use music? Well, without music, the production feels dead. Music usually adds dimensionality, makes a production come alive, makes the production feel complete, can take the viewer into the era of the production, can add an emotional connection, provides the soul of the theme, creates the spirit of the production. How to get paid? Whoever is working on your behalf collects all money. If you're an indie band, then most likely you will be listed with a licensing agency, and that agency will handle the money. If you're assigned to a major label, the label collects the master fees. The publisher collects the sync or publishing fees. They distribute the money to you, the musician. How can music licensing promote a career? You can get known. You will get repeat performances. It helps fund the making of more music. Could lead to a full-time career. You can get affiliated with a brand. Adds credibility. And you can make lots of money. What are the steps to getting music license? List your music with multiple agencies, and they do all the work of finding clients that are using music and might use your music. Or skip that step and go straight to the users of music yourself and do the work all yourself. This step is more difficult, and if you don't know what to do yourself, it could be really difficult. Some agencies engage on an exclusive basis, and others offer non-exclusive deals. You will need to decide what works best for you. General steps. Professionally record all your music. That's important. Generate instrumentals of all your vocal music. Usually, instrumentals are licensed more often than vocal recordings. Generate stems. Stems are being used more and more, and if you're recording new music, go all the way and create stems and have them backed up and make it very easily accessible so that when your client or your licensing agent is looking for stems, you can quickly send them a link and they can download these links and send them to their clients. Next step, you should come up with keywords, genres, and descriptors for all your songs. This is important because you know your music the best and you can describe your music the best. Helps the licensing company make more sales for you. Copyright your music. Then register your music with a PRO such as BMI, ASCAP, or CSAC. You're finished with your music, you have it ready to go. Start making friends with people who license music. Let them know about what kind of music you have. Tell them you sound like this band or your music sounds like this musician. And when they remember that your music sounds like that band or this musician, they will ask you. Then finally, sign up with a music licensing company. Step-by-step instructions. Well, we have a book called Music Licensing Insider's Guide. You can access it at the link here. And it's a complete ebook with directories, including glossary of terms and 6 directories of contacts to make connections and get your music licensed. And is available $35 at the link above. But if you only want the book, it's available at Amazon or iBooks for only $9.99. Music Licensing Insider's Guide. So what are the options if you want to use music or license music? They are do it yourself, your friend's band, royalty-free music, production or library music, unsigned indie artists signed with a label, then finally popular music on major labels. Step 1, considerations. What's the budget? How important is the music? How much time do you have? What are your future plans for your production? Do you know how to get music licensed? What's the end usage? TV, film, internet, game? Step 1 is do it yourself. Cheap and no licensing is required. But are you qualified? It does take a lot of time and often referred to as bedroom music. So is the quality of the music good? Number 2 is your friend's band. Again, it's cheap and you're helping a friend. But are they qualified? Will they flake out at the end when you need them the most? Will they license the track to you so you're completely cleared? Will they hold you hostage at the end? And sometimes referred to as garage band music. Option 3, royalty-free music. Sometimes free and sometimes very low budget. And unfortunately, who will do the searching and filtering to find this one piece of music you can use? It could take 40 to 100 hours, depending on how difficult of a piece of music you need to find. The quality might not be good. Your audience might notice. They might have heard this song in another production. And maybe sometimes it's not up to current standards. Option 4, production or library music. Often it's cheap, quick to find. Some production or library music companies offer free help. But again, it's not original, no soul or no heart. Again, the audience may notice because the music is being used in one ad and then on another TV show, in another game. So if you're good with your ears, you can pretty much figure out this song was used here and that song was used there. Sometimes this is referred to as factory music because it's made within a factory. It's cranked out and ready for the libraries. Musicians go into a studio, crank out a bunch of other tracks, and get added to a library. Hence the word factory music. Number 5, unsigned indie artist. It could be low cost. Many of these unsigned indie artists are anxious to get known, and it makes this easier to deal with. And many are very hip to the licensing scene. A lot have great tracks. Some services can handle it all for you, like a licensing company. But who's going to do all the searching and filtering? Could take 40 to 100 hours if the song you're looking for is very hard to find. Will you be able to negotiate a license? Can you secure a license for what you need? Number 6, indie artists that are signed. Medium cost. Most are anxious to get known, which makes them easier to deal with. Most are hip to the licensing scene, and most have really good tracks. You're supporting indie artists, and there are companies that will handle this all for you. Again, who's going to do the searching and filtering? This will take 40 to 100 hours, depending on how tough of a piece of music you're looking for. Can you negotiate a license? Can you secure a license for what you need? And then finally, number 7, popular music with majors. High cost. Most are hip to the licensing scene. All have great tracks that we've all heard. You support musicians and artists. Your production is going to sound great. And there are companies that will handle this all for you. But then again, who's going to do the searching and filtering? Could take anywhere from 40 to 100 plus hours because finding the right piece of music can be tough if you don't know what you want. Can you negotiate with high-powered corporate attorneys or the agents for the musicians or labels? So the common pitfalls would be temp track love. A popular track is used to start cutting footage to. Everyone in the production falls in love with it. At the end of the production, it's either not available because there's some kind of a sample in it that's not clearable, or it's too expensive. Finally, everyone's scrambling to find something that sounds just as good, but nothing comes close to what this track that everyone's fallen in love with is sounding. Then finally you're unhappy with your production because you can't get what you want and you can't find something as close as the track you've fallen in love with. Common pitfalls for using a friend's music. Everyone is cool and a track is used to cut footage to. Everyone loves it. Everything's handled with a handshake. The production is about to go live and there's no paperwork. You scramble to get the band to sign a license agreement. Finally, this band has had the time to think and now wants money from you. You don't have the budget. You don't have the money. Or everyone in the band is okay with the original deal, except for one guy. Or everyone in the band is okay with the original deal, and one guy's hiking in Peru for 3 months and can't sign this license agreement. So you're stuck. Common pitfalls for using royalty-free production or library music. You hear the same music in another similar spot or film. There's nothing you can do because it's a library music and productions are using these tracks over and over and over again. Common pitfalls for arranging the license yourself. You saved some money getting the license without an attorney. After your production is airing, someone wants money for publishing rights. You're screwed and have to pay. Common pitfalls for not planning ahead. You use music for a limited run. Later you get invited to screen your film at a festival. You don't have the music rights for the festival and have to start over with licensing. Or your video goes viral and you don't have the rights for web media internationally. Again, you'll have to pay or not let it get that exposure. Solutions. Popular music. If you have a huge budget, but get professional help. Indie musicians signed with labels. Best choice for medium budgets, but get help. Unsigned indie artists. Great choice for lower budgets and still need to get help finding this music, licensing it. Production or library music. Often no cheaper than unsigned indie artists, but can be. Royalty-free music, but only as a last resort if you have a very minuscule budget. Solutions for your friend's band, only if you get help from someone who knows licensing. And make sure you get all the pieces you need up front. Get signed contracts. Do it yourself. Only if you're really good and it sounds good to others. Make sure you have the time. What are your choices? Popular music, indie artists signed with indie labels, indie artists unsigned, production or library music, royalty-free music, your friend's music. Popular music, contact a music rights attorney. Easy, but expensive. Research on your own. Find the rights holders. Contact info. Contact master rights holder, usually the label. Contact a publisher or publishers. Indie artists and indie labels. Number 1, Musync.com. Specializes in indie artists with labels and without. Free music searches. Email 10 to 15 tracks for review. 32,000 plus tracks filtered from hundreds of thousands. All tracks are pre-cleared. No further legal work or negotiations are needed. Selections from 2 catalogs, regular and budget. Music from 31 countries, 188 genres, including subgenres, 1,900 artists, live help by phone, live help via instant message. Artists receive 50% of total fee. iTunes ready. Indie artists and indie labels. Number 2, Rumblefish. Indie artists and indie labels. Number 3, Pump Audio. Budget indie artists. Number 2, Free Play Music. Production or library music. Firstcom. APM Music. Megatracks. Royalty-free music, Audio Sparks, or Sound Rangers, Prolific Arts Music, your music. You're on your own because this is generally the last choice unless you're really good and can pull off creating great music that works for your productions. Your friend's music. Again, you're on your own because this is generally the last choice, unless you get them to agree to a license and license their music and that they really can create great music that works for the production. That's it. Thank you.